Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really cool, capturing amazing bird photos, but doing it responsibly.
Exactly. It's about leveling up your photography skills
Yeah.
while making sure you're respecting the birds and, their environment.
And we know you want the key info quickly, without wading through tons of stuff. So this deep dive pulls out the best actionable tips from the material we looked at.
Yeah, we've gone through some great resources. They cover everything from like high-tech tools to really understanding bird behavior. We want
Yeah.
to give you those practical strategies you can use right away.
Okay, so first off, the tech. It feels like that's made a huge difference compared to maybe how things used to be done.
Mm.
These birding apps, they sound like a massive advantage.
Oh, absolutely. It shifts things from just, hoping you stumble across something interesting to actually planning where you go. It gives you a strategic edge.
Right. Less wandering aimlessly. And eBird keeps coming up. It's called the ultimate bird finding tool. What's the deal there?
Well, the power of eBird is really in the crowdsourcing. Think about it. Bird watchers all over the world are logging what they see, when, and where.
Ah, okay. So it's real-time data.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It creates this constantly updated map of bird activity. You can see trends, find hotspots where birds are consistently seen. It lets you plan with incredible geographic precision. It's like decades of bird knowledge right there on your phone.
Wow, tapping into a global network. That's smart. And then there's Merlin Bird ID. That sounds more like an in-the-moment tool.
Exactly. Merlin is fantastic. When you're out there, you see a bird, you're like, what is that? You plug in location, size, main colors.
And it narrows it down for you quick.
Super quick. Saves you so much time fumbling with a field guide when you could be, actually taking the picture.
Makes sense. And the Audubon Bird Guide.
Mm.
It's not just for ID, is it? The source mentioned something about responsibility.
Yeah, that's a good point. Besides helping you ID and track birds, it kind of gently reinforces that core idea. These are wild creatures, and their well-being comes first. It promotes that respectful observer mindset.
Hmm. And what about iNaturalist? It seems a bit broader.
It is, yeah. It covers all wildlife, not just birds. But it's another great way to see what people are spotting locally, including birds, and connect with other nature enthusiasts in your area. Think of it as another layer of, like, local intelligence.
Okay, so we've got these apps helping us find and identify birds. But birds move. Understanding migration sounds absolutely key, especially if you're after a specific species.
Oh, fundamental. You can't photograph a bird that isn't there, right?
Yeah.
These migrations are incredible journeys, sometimes spanning continents. Knowing the timing is crucial.
So how do we track that? Things like Birdcast or eBird's migration tracker, what do they tell us?
What's fascinating there is they use things like weather radar data combined with sightings. Birdcast can actually show you large movements of birds happening almost in real time.
Seriously, radar for birds.
Yeah. It helps predict and track these massive movements during spring and fall, so you get a much better sense of when specific species are likely passing through your area. It allows for really strategic timing.
Okay, that's clever. The source also talked about important bird areas, IBAs. Sounds like photographer gold mines.
They really can be. IBAs are sites that are scientifically recognized as critical for birds breeding, feeding, resting stops during migration. They're biodiversity hotspots.
So focusing efforts there increases your chances.
Significantly. These aren't just random pretty places, they're vital habitats. Finding an IBA often means finding a higher concentration and variety of birds.
But knowing where they gather, especially during stressful times like migration, brings responsibility. That 100-foot rule from Audubon keeps popping up.
And it's so important. It's not just a random number. It's a baseline to minimize disturbance, especially when birds are using up precious energy reserves. Like the source says, your Instagram shot isn't worth messing up their migration.
Totally agree. Respect their space, respect their energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond when and where, we need to get why they're there, the habitat.
Precisely. Different birds need different things. Knowing the habitat helps you narrow down your search immensely.
Right. Let's talk wetlands. What's the draw for birds, and what's the approach for us photographers?
Wetlands are just incredibly rich environments. Lots of food, shelter, perfect for ducks, shorebirds, waders, that sort of thing. The key there is quiet. Be really observant.
Stay back from nests, use long lenses.
Definitely, long lenses are crucial. And watch where you step those ecosystems. Can be fragile. Avoid trampling vegetation near the water's edge.
Got it. What about woodlands and forests? Seems like classic birding territory.
Absolutely. So many species live there. Woodpeckers, warblers, owls, thrushes. The big thing here, stay on the trails.
Minimize impact.
Exactly. Resist that temptation of bushwhack. It disturbs the birds and the environment. Again, patience, long lens. Let the birds come to you, or at least get used to your quiet presence.
Okay. Then there are grasslands and open fields. Different kind of environment.
Yeah, think sparrows, raptors hunting, birds that use open spaces. Here, staying low, staying quiet, maybe using some natural cover, or even a blind can really help. Let them go about their business without feeling watched or threatened.
It's interesting that even city parks get a mention. We sometimes forget about urban wildlife.
You'd be surprised. Parks can be really important refuges, especially for birds adapted to urban life sparrows, pigeons, crows, sometimes even more unusual species.
But the same rules apply, even if they seem used to people.
Absolutely. Just because they're in a park doesn't mean they welcome close intrusion. Use your lens, keep your distance, watch for signs of stress. Respect is key everywhere.
This really hammers home the ethics side. Photography isn't an excuse to invade their space.
That's the bottom line. The bird's welfare has to be priority number one. No photo is worth stressing or harming an animal.
And that 100-foot minimum, it feels less like a suggestion and more like a hard rule.
It's a really good starting point. And like the source implies, if you're close enough that you don't need a telephoto lens, you're probably too close. Use your gear, not your feet, to get closer.
And nesting areas. Just stay away, period. Especially during nesting season.
Oh, absolutely. That's a definite no-go zone. Disturbing nesting birds can cause them to abandon eggs and chicks. It's incredibly harmful to their reproductive success.
Yeah.
Just don't. Find something else to photograph during that season.
Right. And the final point there was about being slow and careful. Patience again.
It really is. If you move slowly, quietly, deliberately, birds are much more likely to tolerate your presence. Rushing in just guarantees they fly away. Patience leads to better, more natural shots.
Okay, so we're out there being careful, but maybe not always alone. The source talks about connecting with birding communities. How did that help photographers?
There's huge value in shared knowledge. Joining a local Audubon chapter, for instance. They often run bird walks, field trips. You learn where to go locally.
Yeah.
And you also absorb those ethical guidelines from experienced birders.
Good point. Learn from the community. What about online? Things like Bird Forum or Reddit.
Yeah, online forums are great too. Places like Bird Forum or our birding subreddit. You can ask questions, share sightings, get tips on gear, find out about local hotspots. Again, reinforce those ideas about respectful observation. It connects you to a wider pool of experience.
It all seems to circle back to ethical birding etiquette. It's not just nice to have, it's fundamental.
It really is the foundation. If you're not practicing ethically, you're kind of missing the point of appreciating these animals. Minimize your impact, always.
Like respecting quiet hours, early morning, late evening.
Yeah, those are often peak activity times for birds feeding, settling down. Being loud or making sudden moves then is extra disruptive. Just be mindful, move quietly.
And that mantra again. Use your lens, not your feet.
Can't say it enough. Invest in a good telephoto lens. It allows you to get those amazing close-ups without stressing the bird by getting physically close. It's probably the single most important piece of gear for ethical bird photography.
And finally, just paying attention. Knowing when to back off if the bird seems agitated.
Yes. Learn to read their body language. Are they making alarm calls? Are they getting fidgety, looking like they want to flee? That's your cue. You're too close, or you've stayed too long. Back away slowly and give them space. The bird's comfort is paramount.
Okay, so wrapping this up. It feels like truly great responsible bird photography is this mix of things. Using the right tech smartly, really understanding the birds, their movements, their habitats, having that deep respect for their space.
And connecting with other people who share that respect.
Exactly.
It's not just about the camera. It's a whole approach. It requires knowledge, patience, the right gear, yes, but mostly that mindset of putting the bird first.
It's definitely a long game, not just about snapping a quick picture. It makes you think differently.
It does.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. How can we, as photographers enjoying nature's beauty, actually use our passion and our images to help protect these birds? Maybe our photography can be more than just maybe it can be part of giving back, part of conservation. Something to consider. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.